So the issue between Ghana versus Nigeria, or Nigerians in Ghana, in every which way ever, is becoming or getting tougher and tougher. And as for me personally, it's getting tougher and very, very overwhelming. Overwhelming because I'm getting a lot of mixed reactions and opinions from different Ghanaians. As much as I know that of Nigerians are not a shock to me, or it's not something for me to worry about, because as a Nigerian representing and wading into this issue from nothing but a place of what concern, as I've always stated, not with sentiment, emotions, and bias, not to instigate any form of hate whatsoever, but just always coming out using my platform to say stand for nothing but the truth, right? It's really getting me so overwhelmed. Let me not lie, because there are certain things you expect from some certain people, but at the end of the day, when you don't see it or see it happen the way you expect, you get disappointed. Especially that of VDM that I brought up here has really put me very, very, very down. Yes, if you hear from the tone of my voice, you will know that it has hit me. All this is taking a toll on me, but regardless, because it is something I'm passionate about, I always, I'm like that. And anytime I see issues that concern me, I always want to get involved, so that at least the world will hear nothing but the truth and get a proper understanding, education based on my own opinion. And remember, everything I stand to say here is on my own opinion. And this will be me reacting to two videos that I stumbled on this, YouTube space from two different Ghanaians, especially as a result of the locking of the Nigerian shops in Ghana, which is currently trending. And, this whole Nigeria must go off a thing in Ghana. Guys, trust me to always stand on the path of truth, not, favoritism or the sides of anyone. Okay, so let's take a look at this video first from my brother Cyrus. Video credit to him, who actually did come out again to wail into this issue of locking of shops or the business laws and rules on binding on foreigners in Ghana. And when I say foreigners, remember, Nigerians are not the only foreigners in Ghana, right? We have other countries, national citizens in Ghana. And from what he explained and from what I understood, because I've always been wanting to hear from the horse's mouth what the business law states, right, for Ghana. Because as a matter of fact, every country have their laws, and the law is the law, right? That aside, I want us to just hear from him what it is for the business law in Ghana based on the organization, the institution of Ghana business. They're called GUTA in abbreviation. Let's hear a bit of what Cyrus had to throw more light on this. Please don't forget to like, share, and stay subscribed. I will be right back.
A giant of Africa is really going through it, and I hope they figure it out sooner than later, because football isn't working for them as expected, and so is business in other African countries. Not long ago, I did an episode where a group of South African activists went around closing the shops of foreigners who operated in small corner businesses. They did this pointing to the South African labor law that prohibited non-South Africans from engaging in certain businesses reserved for the local people. They also referred to another South African law that required proof of certain level of capital investment from foreigners before they engage in setting up businesses in the rainbow country. That was then in South Africa, but now the trend has caught up with Ghana. The Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association in Ghana decided to go from shop to shop in the spare parts enclave in the center of Accra starting from the 8th of September to demand for the closure of shops owned by foreigners. But ladies and gentlemen, it is obvious that when the word illegal or foreign retailers is used in this circumstance, one country in particular comes to mind, whether in South Africa or in Ghana. It is Nigeria, the giant of Africa. And I need you to quickly watch the footage of what transpired between the Ghana activists and the Nigerian retailers so we can return to the commentary. And I have other footages to show you. So let's watch this one right now.
The Abosokai Spare Part Dealers Association is enforcing the GIPC Act 2013, which says that foreigners are not entitled to trade in retail, but rather wholesale. Here in Abosokai, the leaders are saying that some foreign nationals, especially the Nigerians, are engaging in retail business, which is affecting their business.
We have taken it upon ourselves to deal with this matter internally here, because it's affecting the spare part dealers directly. So we want to deal with this program directly. We are giving them 3 days to do this. Today we'll go around, we'll go humbly talk to them for them to understand. Then we talk to their leaders on Wednesday. If they hit to listen to us, that's where we bring in the authorities. We send our letter to the police, give them 5 days, and then write a letter to all the institutions that they're supposed to come in. and then from there we do what we want to do.
So what they do is, once they wholesale to you, they sit in their shops to also do retail, and it's affecting our market. You understand? Because we can't sit in the market and foreigners are supplying and retailing. So which is which? We can't compete with them. It's the reason why we are not selling. We can't sell in the market. And plus they have a working capital and their interest rates in their countries are very low. You cannot compete with them. They will bring their goods from Nigeria, Turkey, Dubai, China, bring it into the market, start selling.
Go to the port, 55% as a percentage. Nigeria 15%. Can you compare with them? Cote d'Ivoire, their interest rate is 7.5%. Nigeria less than 20%. Ghana 30 to 40%. Does it make sense? Excuse me, sir.
I'm ready to offend them, but they should not insult me. No one has insulted me. So if my wife are here, can you fight
her? So, the leadership of the community that oversees operations of retail shops in the Abosokai area says they will not allow for foreigners to engage in the wholesale and retail businesses in the country. And they insist on this because the laws of the trade industry in Ghana prohibits it. This is where I want to use this opportunity to ask everyone watching me a couple of questions. Should we have laws in Africa, ladies and gentlemen? Should we enforce the laws, or should a member country of ECOWAS trump over every law of individual countries in Africa? Is it legal for a non-citizen to operate in the retail industry of any country in the world? Can a non-citizen move to another country and begin running a business without any form of legal documentations? Should a foreigner acquire a resident permit to live in a foreign country? Is it mandatory? Is it a must for a foreigner to have a work permit to operate any type of business in another country? And is it a bad act on the part of the local people and authorities to stop foreigners who wouldn't act in accordance of the laws of the land or not? Ladies and gentlemen, these are questions we all need answers to. There are too many situations of foreign dominance in Africa as a whole. First of all, Nigeria is always going to be at the center of this discussion when it comes to Africa because of their sheer size. They are literally more than half the total population of West Africa. So that should explain why there will always be an issue to deal with. Secondly, the Chinese, Lebanese, Indians are doing practically the same thing the Nigerians are doing. And therefore, it is not going to be only about Nigeria as a challenge, but China, Lebanon, and India. If retail isn't allowed for a non-citizen of every country in the world, then there shouldn't be a bus when the local authorities take actions against them. But the problem is this: business people have equally mastered the art. They understand their situation wherever they operate and look for ways to circumvent the laws. This is another video where a Nigerian shop owner is resisting closure because he is married to a Ghanaian lady with kids, and therefore the business is registered in the name of the father-in-law. Something like this is what's happening in this video. Let's take a quick look at it.
Let's comply.
Look at my lawyer. Yes. Look at my lawyer. I would don't want to do great scene here. I'm not those Nigerian here illegal. I'm not those illegal Nigerian guys here. I'm here now for 26 good years.
Listen.
All my children are having Ghana passport.
Listen.
So if the shop is for my
So you want to
child,
listen to me?
come and close.
You want to listen to me?
I don't know you. The same way I don't know you. You don't know me.
If you heard the conversation going on at the background clearly enough, the Ghanaian in-law was trying to tell the authorities that the shop isn't a Nigerian shop. This is the new strategy, and all over the world, business owners are using it. They get involved with the local people just so they can maneuver their way around the local laws. The Nigerian man in the video stated he has 2 children with a Ghanaian woman who both have a Ghanaian passport. And again, that has been the strategy for many decades all over the world. Therefore, if a government wants to really protect its local businesses and allow for fair trade in the face of all these recent tactics by foreigners, the laws will have to be amended to make provision for all these situations. The reason is because of what this gentleman said in the earlier video. Take a look at it.
Go to the port, 55% as a percentage. Nigeria 15%. Can you compare them? Cote d'Ivoire, their interest rate is 7.5%. Nigeria less than 20%. Ghana 30 to 40%. Does it make sense?
Ladies and gentlemen, so long as the exchange rate across Africa for the US dollar is different, prices in African countries will vary. And because import charges of African countries also vary, there will be some advantages enjoyed by some African countries' traders against their counterparts in other African countries. And because this is a fact, there will always be the issue of countries with low prices looking to sell their goods in countries with high prices and make as much profit without paying the type of import duties the local people pay. This is the whole conundrum, ladies and gentlemen. There are countries in Africa like Botswana, Mauritius, Namibia, Seychelles, whose import charges are less than 2%. Whereas other countries in Africa like Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Gambia have their own above 15%. So obviously, when a trader who paid less than 2% tax on their imports move their goods to your country, where taxes are above 15%, they will most likely sell them cheaper and control the market. This is what's happening between Ghana and Nigerian traders. And on top of that, we have to look at the interest rates in individual countries in Africa. When business owners from one African country has to pay around 45% interest per annum on their loans, and their counterparts from other countries like Turkey, China, India are paying less than 10% as interest on their loans, they will most definitely reduce their prices to sell more goods and pay off their debt. We are all aware of all these information, but we do nothing with them. Politicians who actually make the laws and determine the market rates have joined in the business of even partnering with foreign businesses and business owners to dupe the state and collapse local businesses. This is the chaos, ladies and gentlemen. Look, even though the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is saying the local leadership of the Spare Part Association in Abosokai should allow for requisite authorities to exercise their duties, the situation has been persistent so long. Local traders feel these so-called authorities aren't capable of bringing the needed change. This is why the interest groups in South Africa rose against such foreigners, and now same types of concerned group in Ghana is rising for their right. If Africa laws are important, then we must allow for them to work to its full capacity wherever on the continent.
Now, seeing and hearing, what the business law states, right, from Ghanaians and the Association of Ghana Business Union, whatever is being called, would literally tell you that this is a law that, right from the inception of Ghana, it has been in existence. And whether at the end of the day you are ignorant of this law or not, does not make it right. Remember, ignorance to the law is not an excuse. The law is the law and must be respected, both by foreigners, both by Ghanaians. And at the end of the day, they said foreigners are not meant to do retail business. You bring in the goods, you put your price and sell to the nationals, and the nationals sells back to they themselves, because they understand the system of their country, of doing business in their country, and how it works and how they survive on their own business. Remember, this is Ghana, and Ghana is not Nigeria. Ghana is not China, any other country whatsoever. It's Ghana we are talking about here. And no matter what it is, a foreigner, whether you are documented or not documented, is expected to live within the laws of the country binding on you as a foreigner, whether you are legal or illegal. Remember, you are not even expected to be in another man's country illegally, which is a crime in the law. Now, if you're well documented and you know that this is what the law states, why breaking the law in a nutshell? Why are Nigerians in Ghana breaking the law? The law states that you do not engage in retail business. It's meant for the locals. What is difficult to understand and obey and respect the law? Now, I see some, misconstrued narrative of most gullible, hypocritical Nigerians in Ghana who always want to, make it sound as if Ghana is Nigeria, as if Ghanaians do not have the right to, come out at the end of the day to take action, stringent measures on, defaulters of the law. Because I don't want to break what the law says. You have heard it clearly. All they are doing, they are falling prey and short of the law. When you look at the other one that was, screaming and lamenting at the end of the day that he's married to a Ghanaian and his in-law got the shop, for him, blah, 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 which is, him trying to ignorantly shoot himself in the foot by thinking because he is married to a Ghanaian, his in-law, connived and got a shop for him, and he is doing a retail business or whatever business that is against the law in Ghana makes it justified. That is absolutely wrong. Don't think that because you are married to a Ghanaian. You see, that's even the problem. These people get into these countries as Ghana. In fact, South Africa, literally every country Nigerians get into. The first thing first they do is to want to, have partnership with their women or with their men, as the case may be, so that they can go under this, partnership of marriage whatsoever, to break the laws, to do whatever they think they want to do, manipulate the whole system and get away with it. Then when they are being confronted, when they are being stopped, they begin to revolt. Look at the energy, manner at which these old men doing this business as Nigerians in Ghana are revolting against this Ghanaian union, trade union. I was really shocked to my bones to see these things happening in Ghana. And I'm like, even if you want to say Ghanaians are committing crime, Ghanaians are committing crime and they are not exempted. The law will always catch up with them. Remember, does not give you, as also a Nigerian, let me be particular with Nigeria, the same right to go and commit crime. Marrying a Ghanaian is not an excuse to the law, right? Whether you stay 100 years in Ghana, 1,000 years in Ghana, it's not also an excuse. Now, I want to ask, is it because it has to do with African countries? That is why we don't respect each other. We don't respect the laws, as my brother Cyrus has stated, that are binding on every foreigner in the country. Remember, if it is in Nigeria, whatever the law states should also count. It doesn't matter whom you are. And if anything happens to any foreigner, whether Ghanaian in Nigeria, who is breaking the law, you should not even expect that Ghanaians will come and revolt against it or protest, right? Because they know that it is out of the law. It's against the law. Are you getting it now? That is why, you see, when you want to even break this whole thing down, Nigerians go into, these countries, as the case may be, with their ulterior motive for, in order to want to manipulate the system. Some of them go there so that they will get entangled with their women, their men, in order to get this documentation, get these papers and all the rest. Even in the Western world, you see Nigerians, mostly Africans, particularly Nigerians in particular, they want to get married to these white ladies for their own benefit, for their own selfish interest most of the time. It is not genuine. And when something arises, that is when you begin to find out the true reasons, motives behind them even getting married to, these natives or locals. Just like that man was, laughing, making jest, as though maybe marrying to a Ghanaian, having children or living 100 years in Ghana makes you, not guilty of the law, right? You can imagine the whole thing. Now tell me, if this whole thing is happening in the US, in Canada, will you say because you're married to a US or US citizen, a Canadian citizen, a UK citizen, then you can break the law and get away with it? No, we are talking about Pan-Africanism, African unity. Is it justified that because in order for us to call ourselves one brother, black race, this, that, we should disrespect each other, break the laws of each country and think at the end of the day it's going to work that way? Remember, see, I'm a huge fan of peace, oneness, and unity, but I love boundaries. When you break these boundaries, break this law, nobody wants to be disrespected, even one-on-one, individual to individual. A brother to a brother will not even want the younger one to disrespect him or her and get away with it, because everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves respect. It's not an issue of love. Leave love, sentiment, and emotions one aside. We know that love at the end of the day will reign supreme. But how will this love come to play? How will this unity and peace, oneness we are talking about come to play? If at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we as Nigerians in all these countries are feeling entitled, going there, breaking the laws, you've clearly heard what the law states. What is too difficult? And you know that the detriment of breaking the laws has an impact on the locals who are also doing this business. You heard them say they can't compete. They're not supposed to be in competition with their, guests. They are the host. How can the host be competing? I overheard somebody saying, come, bring them close, learn from them. Learn from them as per what? You want to change the people in their own country? For what reason? Their personality, their character, whom they are. And to think of the fact that, this narrative making rounds that Ghana is a safe haven for corruption and crime. It is a very wrong thing to say, because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana has always been safe and peaceful, not until Nigerians came and all these others came with their criminality. Ghana has been safe. And criminals love where they will commit crime and hide themselves and stay safe, not because the locals are, champions in criminality and all that. This is not to say Ghanaians don't commit crime, mind you, right? The locals have always been welcoming peaceful people, and their country has been safe. It is even so overwhelming and overburdening for the government of Ghana today to even tackle this situation, because it is on the hike and increase. Remember, they are human beings too. When something is becoming too difficult, just like it is for Nigeria, that the rate of crime and everything has overwhelmed the police and the rest, you find it very difficult to, well into the situation. We are talking about human beings here. The government is even at this point in a very confused state because all this whole brouhaha from Nigerians in Ghana is a very difficult one for the government as we speak because a lot is involved, whether you like it or not. And that's why you see that they are finding it very difficult in the first place to come out and tackle this situation. So I also saw a video also from one of these Ghanaians. I'll see if I can put, the video clip of, one of these Ghanaians who actually also came out to give his opinion and take on this whole thing. He mentioned quite a lot, and even in the video, he was like, he's going to expose some creatives, content creators that are taking advantage of this whole, Nigeria must go. That for him, Nigeria must go is not a thing.
That has to do with Nigeria must go. That conversation should stop. I said that. Okay? I did not support that.
But the crime and corruption of Nigerians, particularly he mentioned, is where he has issues. And he's seeing this whole movement of Nigeria must go as, something coming from a group of people who are doing it for their own selfish interest and what have you.
We have the following in Ghana. When we speak, it go far. We cannot just keep quiet. We need to let Nigerians understand that some of us, we are not in support of this. And these people, they have genuine concern. But how they are handling it is completely wrong. Let me explain to you. There is a way we create awareness and educate people. And there is other way, which is to instigate people against each other. There is a difference between educating people against certain things, creating awareness and calling the attention of the authority to a particular problem, and instigating a particular tribe, a particular group of people against another, a group of people. That is one thing some of us, we are not going to allow in this country. It will not happen. And after I'm done with this video, any blogger in this country, Ghana, that think that the quote that I'm going to put out there fits your body, the cap that I'm putting out there fits your head, come out and let me expose you.
And at the end of the day, he has evidence, of people who are using it to defraud people, to defraud the audience, to gain popularity and what have you.
So listen to me. When I say we are not going to condone that in this country, that Nigeria must go. When you say criminals must be arrested, the authority must come in and then solve the problem of criminality in our country. No problem. It is acceptable. We will join that call. If you are calling the authority to come in and secure the country through our immigration officers and make sure that everybody is documented, no problem, we'll support that call. But when you say Nigeria must go, you are standing against a whole nation. We are not going to allow that to happen. Have you people imagine what will happen if Nigerians in there wake up today and say Ghanaians must go? Do you know what is going to happen in between the two countries? Do you know what you people are trying to cause? You have no idea. You have no idea. We will not allow xenophobic to take place in this country. All right, let me explain why Ghanaians are behaving like this. Ghanaians are behaving like this because some Nigerians in our country, honestly, they are becoming problem in our communities. When they talk about kidnapping, Nigerians are there. When they talk about fraud, Nigerians are there. And of course, Ghanaians are also there. You can't tell me that Ghanaians are not there. Ghanaians are also there. But let me put that aside, since the conversation is about Nigerians and some attitude of Nigerians, kidnapping and, a whole lot of things that they are doing in this country. And honestly, some, they bring in some ladies and they are coming to do a shower, tutu line on the street. They're selling their body out. Of course, Ghanaians are also part of it. But the truth is that, let us not be hypocritical. Nigerians are flogging in more daily in this country doing this. Drug trafficking, a whole lot of things happening. Nigerians are also involved. Ghanaians are also involved. But as I said before, the conversation is about Nigerians. In Ghana, landlords in Ghana, right now as I'm speaking to you, they do not want to rent house to Nigerians in some part of Ghana. Many places in the city, they don't want to rent house to Nigerians. Uber drivers are complaining about Nigerians and Nigerians are treating them. Sometimes they are robbing them, a whole lot of things happening. On the Uber app, some places in the country are marked on the app as danger zone. And those places are the places that Nigerians are more. So we have Nigerians who are becoming problem in some of the communities. But listen to me, there are good Nigerians also in this country who are doing business, minding their own business, good loyal Nigerians who are here for business, have good families, responsible Nigerians. You understand what I'm saying? The concern that my people have, even me myself, I have that concern. There was a time I went to Kaswa. When I went to Kaswa, some new site. And when I got to the new site, that whole place, I was a little bit scared. Why? Because Nigerians, plenty are vlogging in that particular place, and they are, going there. I don't know why, but many Nigerians, and most of them, when you see them, you see that these people, they don't have any concrete work that they are doing. They are always in the room type of people. You understand? So the time is going to come, maybe that place is going to be Nigeria and a whole lot of things will be happening there. We don't know because of the kind of people that are going to that place. So it is concerning at the rate at which Nigerians are coming to our country. But that does not mean that Nigerians must go. What needs to be done is that our immigration officers should get their job done, be it Nigeria or whoever, should be documented properly. That is what we should be calling for. We cannot stand against a particular nation, individual group of people that they have to go. No, it's not going to happen in this country because there are some Ghanaians in Nigeria. Do you think some Ghanaians in Nigeria are not doing bad things just as Nigerians are doing bad things here? Of course. Now, VDM came out and made some point. The point of VDM, some of them, I don't agree that our economy is surviving on fraud money and a whole lot of things. Those things that VDM said, I don't agree with VDM. Shout out to you, bro, but you got it wrong over there, according to me. You understand? In my opinion, you got it completely wrong. But the center conversation of VDM's message is that Ghana has become accommodative for criminals. That is why more criminals are coming to Ghana. And I agree with him. Let me be frank with you. When you see mosquito in a particular environment, many mosquitoes are there. It means the environment is conducive for the mosquito. So when you see more crimes happening in Ghana, Nigerians who are criminals are coming to Ghana, it simply means that our environment are conducive. Our system is slack. It make criminals comfortable. So they say that, okay, Ghana is soft. I mean, if you're a criminal, you can come here. You can come in here and relax. So it is our authority, our government that need to get their job done properly. To fix the system, make sure that the system does not accommodate criminal activity. Because as it is right now, Ghana is good for business. Nigeria is complaining that when they are coming to Ghana to do business, they face problem. No, why? Because the country is good, conducive for everybody to come and do business. Nigerians are not complaining that when they are coming to do criminality, they are having problem. Why? Because the system is conducive. The country is conducive for them to come and do their criminal activity. So everything bounces back to our system. If you fix the system, the problem will be solved. The problem is not the people, but the system. The system allow it. Why are they not going to Togo more? Why are they not go to other countries more? So your government need to fix your system. But in other countries, you can't do it because they fix the system to make sure that it doesn't happen. You can't even, the system is even checking your mind. It is time for our government to step in. And Nigerians too, I don't know what is happening to you. I said it in one of my videos that Nigerians, call your people to order. Everybody is rejecting you. South Africans are rejecting you. United States, they are rejecting you. Other countries, Libya, they are restricting you. Almost everybody in this Africa continent have problem with Nigerians. What is it? Change your attitude, man. Change your attitude. Let us live in peace. What is it? What is the meaning of this? You are becoming a problem to the entire continent. Honestly speaking, some of you, not all Nigerians, forgive me, but some of Nigerians, you are becoming a problem. You are destroying the image of Nigeria. So the concern of my people is genuine. The concern of Ghanaians you see on the street is genuine, but the way they are channeling it is wrong. Now, this is where the bloggers come in. These people who are championing this agenda of Nigeria must go. There are some bloggers. I'm not going to mention their name, but let me leave it here like this. When I'm done, they will know that they are the one I'm talking about. I'm waiting for them to pull out their camera and mention my name, and we'll see in this country. Some of them who expose you live and colored with evidence to the public. Then they know who you are. There is a group. They are in the group. And in that group, the first demonstration of Igbo King must go and Nigeria must go demonstration that they did. There are some young bloggers with some 2x4 followers where, they were the face of that particular demonstration. Some of us will receive call, we say no. Now, they are in a group manipulating the people after that protest. Some of them, those of you in the group, you know what I'm talking about. One of the guy came to tell you that, after the demonstration, he has a problem and his life is under threat. And then he screenshot somebody threatening him. He used his own number to threaten himself and then send a message to the group. And then he need money for apartment and all that. And then, he used that to get money from you people in that group. He fooled all of you. That guy, I'm telling him, you know yourself. The next time I'll come on this conversation again, I'll mention your name.
He said quite a lot as a Ghanaian. And there again we go. I was like, okay, we are talking about Pan-Africanism. We are talking about what? Peace and oneness, according to him, right? That's his belief. But he also made mention that his concern again is not that the crimes of Nigerians in Ghana are not valid. Not that also the actions of Ghanaians against Nigerians saying or protesting that Nigeria must go is not valid. But they should come with, a common stance to say criminals must go, crime must be stopped. Now, remember, Ghanaians have been protesting They've been talking, they've been using their platform. Me, I'm not here to talk about anybody who is defrauding, because I'm not saying I don't know, and I'm not saying it's not possible. And anybody who is even doing such a thing is a shame and a disgrace to even engage in such, because this whole thing is not a joke. If you're thinking this whole movement of putting an end to crime in Ghana is a joke to you as a Ghanaian, as a Nigerian, then you must be a joker, because these are real life issues. That's why you see, when I talk with every life in me. That is why I can't even come here to say I am talking because of favoritism or whatever. No, I'm stating facts. So I am not saying that it's overruled. Anybody who is doing such is left with them and their conscience. That's why I say it's good for people to have living conscience. He went on to even say that at the end of the day, if they are saying criminals must go, crime must be stopped, the government needs to step up with their game and everything. And I'm like, okay, this whole thing has actually started gradually. Ghanaians have been using their platform for the genuine ones, because there are still genuine people who still stand to support this, even though he said not every Ghanaian supports it. It's okay and fine, because not everything will be welcomed by everybody, right? It's nature, it's life, it's human, right? So there are people that will stand for A and stand for the opposing side, right? So I am quite, in agreement with that. But the point is this whole curse justified? That crime, because what is bringing and prompting all these things is the crime, right? Is this whole curse of saying Nigerians in Ghana must go justified? Remember, when they say Nigerians in Ghana must go, it doesn't mean that all Nigerians must go. It's just a common language to say that crimes are in the increase. All this whole thing that he mentioned are in the increase in Ghana, and they should be stopped. Like he rightly said, that the government should up their games. If the government is trying their best, and you openly said the influx of Nigeria, you heard my brother Cyrus also mention, everywhere Nigeria goes, it's always a problem and a headache to the host. How will the government tackle it? Now the citizens have been, lamenting until they took to the street. If, remember, they did not start the online awareness of the Igbo king, the Igbo king wouldn't have backed down. They wouldn't have renounced or denounced his agenda, his statements, and all whatever, which were factual. Whether it was 10 years ago, 100 years ago, he said it is that he said it. It's happening is that it was happening. And whether till date, I don't know. But if this whole awareness of social media, thank God for social media, because I will always say that creating this awareness online was not there, we wouldn't have known what is happening. The world wouldn't have known. I need you people to get this whole thing straight and well understood. Now, because of the awareness online, it brought it, the whole thing came out open to the entire world. And not only that, this whole protest came as a result of the silence of the government, or the measures and, the measures that they did not take and take adequately, the response that the people are not expecting from them. That's why they kept persisting. Now, whether this is for, politically inclined or whatever, remember, I've always said, I'm not interested. It's not my business. But all I'm focusing on is the points that have always been raised, which are the major points, right? So if Nigerians in Ghana are not committing these crimes, they are not breaking these laws and doing all these things, remember, I will not come here and talk. Why I'm talking is because all these things are evident. I'm happy my brother, from Ghana also has a proof and a consent that, yes, of a truth, all these things are a crime. He even said when he went to Kaswa, you heard him, it was even at the end of the day scary to him. Now, should the youth, the nationals of this country, Ghana, keep quiet? Should we continue seeing that grace we're about? Is the audacity, the courage, and the boldness of how Nigerians want to read the law, quote the law, interpret the law for Ghanaians. Meanwhile, when you ask a Nigerian what the law states or what the law states in Nigeria, majority of us do not even know what our law and constitution states. But you'll see them going to in-depth research just to know the laws of other countries to back their crimes, their criminality, manipulation, and what have you in all these countries, especially currently in Ghana, as we've seen in the picture today. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and on, but all I stand here to say is that the law is the law. Every country has their law. If that of Nigeria isn't working, is not justified enough for Nigerians to go into other people's country to break their laws, right? I can see from all the protests and every campaign whatsoever that has been going on is peaceful, because I bet you if it were to be Nigeria, it would have been violent. It's peaceful. So he's still depicting that Ghanaians are still easy, peaceful going people. But do not take them for granted, for crying out loud. Do not take their peaceful nature for granted, for crying out loud. Respect their country. Respect the laws in their country. If this is not accepted, don't do it. Don't do it. Guys, I can go on and on because a lot has been said. But young man, I don't want you to even see that the reason why many criminals are flocking into Ghana as Nigeria is because Ghana enables crime. Ghana do not enable crime. Ghana has always been safe and peaceful until Nigerians entered and started making it unsafe, that even you too is even afraid and scared of some areas in your country. And that is the agenda of criminals. They will go there and destroy the place if time is not taken. And that is why Ghanaians at the end of the day are also standing up to say enough. Not that they say every Nigerian must go. Who does that? No, they are creating awareness. This is a campaign to create awareness so that the government will weigh in, the government will step in, and the needful will be done. If it were violence, violence would have exuded long time ago. But I tell you that this is not just a joke, and don't take it as a joke, whether you're a Ghanaian or non-Ghanaian. So at the end of the day, I needed us to have this proper understanding. Anyways, what do I even know? I'm just giving my opinion. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm really overwhelmed and it's draining, right? But regardless, the truth must be said because I am passionate about the truth. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video and stay subscribed. And I will see you in my next one. Thank you.